we tried to graphically show you how complex the jail is. Not easy. The jail is in a constant state of flux. A prison gets a certain number of people with a full dossier, and they're going to be there for a period of time. They know that in advance. A jail takes in detainees, and they're held there until they're bonded out, or held there longer if they can't make their bond, or if it's a capital offense. So the jail population just changes day to day to day. You know what? A detainee put in the jail doesn't say, oh, by the way, you caught me doing burglary, but actually I'm a serial killer and I do drugs on the side. They just don't volunteer information. So they have a hard time knowing with what they're dealing with. Up here is something we added at the last minute, and I want to make sure. Let's see if I can. Up on the right-hand corner, that little lacer may not be enough. Over here, it says, read it myself. That is not a slam at the police whatsoever. We have placed the police in this county in a totally unacceptable position. There's no room at the jail. They're having to make the decision who they arrest and take out to the jail. And if I'm wrong on this, I'm going to count on one of the representatives of the police department to correct me. But I believe that's the situation. That's not a slap at the police. In this study, I earned a profound respect for the people in law enforcement in this county. And I never see a policeman now, if they're stopped, if they're at a gas station getting a cup of coffee, or they're inside of a bank, I go up, introduce myself, and thank them. I invite you to do that also. Now, there are some myths. One of the myths is, and you hear this quite frequently from county people, well, Little Rock is loading down the jail. Not quite. If you look at the bookends at the county jail for 2005, 37.7% came from the deputies, the sheriff's deputies. 2004, 55%. Now, 2006 is an anomaly because the bookends dropped tremendously. And I assume that's because of the closed situation. How far did they drop? From something like 22,000 to something like 13,000. You understand what that means? The jail is closed. They were booking in about 22,000 a year, dropped down to 13,000. Not good. You'll find data tables like this. These are the data stripped from the FBI and from the Arkansas Crime Information System that shows you the crime. And if you're not careful, you would look at this and say, well, crime's not going up. You have to look at the shift of the crime. As you shift from burglaries to robberies, a fundamental change has occurred that is very, very serious. And that's the shift we're seeing. So what happens, has happened in the last 6 months, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, is really a reflection of the jail being closed. Simple little fact. The police know who the burglars are. Take the 40 top burglars in Little Rock off the streets, and the burglary rate will drop 50%. But you don't put burglars in jail, for your information. Now, it's also hard looking at criminal statistics because there's been a change in the way they report them. It used to be called the Uniform Crime Record. There's now an incident report, and everybody's in transition. So not every city in the county, nor the county, report their data in the same way. Fairly soon, they'll go back to uniform. Now, in the interviews, what we found is that professionals close to county government and those in the criminal justice system distrust and show a great deal of frustration with county government. Now, to be honest, when I say county government, and what they're expressing is their frustration with quorum court and the office of the judge. No frustration with the office of the treasurer, the assessor. I'm sure an individual every now and then is a little bit frustrated when they don't like their assessment, but you just don't pick up on that. Time and time again, an interesting statement arose. when asked in an interview about the last election for the quarter cent sale, people would say, well, I thought if the county got that 1/4%, they'd give the sheriff that 1/4% and they'd take out their support. Understand what I'm saying? People really believe that what would happen is if we voted in a 1/4 cent tax, then the county would begin to erode the support they're already putting into the sheriff's office and the jail. That's a strong belief out there, and the belief is stronger in the minds of those who are closer to the county government and law enforcement. Now, we did this telephone survey of people 18 years and older, and it's mapped to the demographics of the county. 61% indicated they had only some confidence in county government. 14% had a great deal of confidence. This survey was done by the Survey Research Center here at the university under the direction of Miss Cindy Boland, and the data is accurate, plus or minus 5% at the 95% confidence level. These are the priorities that the citizens picked. You need to look at these clearly. I mean, they're very firm in their minds. This is what the citizens expect of county. Operation of the jail, law enforcement, maintaining the roads. Now, one of those is in pretty good shape because the road funds are sequestered and can't be spent for anything else. %61% would favor increasing the taxes for funding the jail. 25% said don't increase the taxes and keep the jail as it is. That question was followed by, if the tax funds were sequestered like the road funds and could not be used for anything else, would you change your mind? And 25% said yes. %5 want the sheriff, the court to expand the jail, but don't use any more money. 41% believe there's a lot more crime. 27% believe there is a little more crime. 19% believe it's about the same. 48% believe the county is spending too little to combat crime. 34% believe the county is spending about the same amount, or the right amount. When queried about prevention, intervention, and treatment programs, I was a little bit surprised. 52% felt there was too little being spent on drug abuse. Now, to my mind, you have to split drug abuse kind of into two areas. There's the users, which is a sad group, and there's those who make, import, and sell. What people are talking about here is treating the users. 8% felt there was too much being spent on such programs, but that's a fairly dramatic difference. Now, how do you tell what's the right size jail? We looked at some similar jails, okay? And after talking to a person in Texas who makes calculations, and I'll get that about jail sizes, he said, make sure your cities have an interstate in them, if you've got an interstate, and that they have entertainment venues. Because he said those seem, in a manner we don't clearly understand, to drive up the crime rate. Is you're going to have a transient problem. There's the population of Pulaski County any day is a little larger than the census population because of the traffic on the highways. And you probably remember the robbery that took place in Faulkner. Guys in transit to Florida. So that's the kind of thing that happened. We all loved Hotel Arena. Put on a big rock show. You're going to have some people in that crowd who are opportunistic criminals. If you're going to pick pockets, where do you want to go? That's a good site. So you have to have this. So all three of these city counties have that.